Okay, so I just want to go in here and quickly go over a little model. Someone's having some problems, so I'm helping out and I'll show you how to fix some things. Hopefully this will help out. A lot more people are doing this project too. So first off, I just dropped it in. Remember, whenever you're looking at my hypergraph, I always go in here and display shape hidden underworld nodes, and that way I can see what's going on. So the first question was, there's these funny little transparency kind of nodes in here. Well, those are coming from your history. Okay, if I take a look, say the body, lots of history, and it's turning all these funny colors because looking at my UV editor, I should just close that down. And what else do I have this open? Maybe there's another part around. Open it up again. It's going to open this thing, close it, and the colors should be gone. Come on, come on. There, they're gone. Okay, so lots of history. You can see some polyunite, so you combine some things, and if I go in and I delete the history, we might lose some of these nodes. What was it? I noticed there's a piece here that really had a lot. I think it's this one. Separate, polyunite, separate. You know what? I'm just going to take all of the geometry and I'm just going to delete the history. And that got rid of a bunch of ghosty little nodes. What's this? The headlight? So there's a few pieces here that are all kind of parented together into a group. I might keep the group, or I could just have it in one, under one group. Sometimes that's kind of my favorite way to do things. But we got rid of a bunch of things. What's this thing? That's a skeleton, and there's the God control. Okay, so I think that was the first question. It expands forward. Okay, so that's probably also this question here. Why does it move faster? It's because there's history stuff. Separate and combine. Now, how do I scale everything up? Well, let's go back here, and we can grab the geometry. By the way, these two pieces here are just kind of looks like they're combined together. I might just go mesh, separate, and just delete the history right away. And they're in a group too. Here, let's just do this. I'm just going to isolate the geometry, grab it all, and then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to hold down Shift and grab this one last. I'm just going to hit P, and that parents everything directly to it. There's a few little junky nodes in here. I'm going to go in and just get it with optimized scene size. Okay. Boop. And it got rid of the groups, empty groups, pieces of junk geometry, layers that you're not using, things like that. Okay. So let's go back to this. And what do we got? I'm going to put on X-ray joints, and I will turn off isolate select. And if I go in and I grab the body, except for the wheels, let's see. Let's go in. I'm going to put the skeleton onto another layer here for a second. I'm just going to hide it. Grab everything except for that God control. Come back here, and I'm just going to deselect the wheel parts. And of course, let's just hide that again. And there, that should be good. Okay, everything's fine. I just didn't want the wheels selected. Actually, the steering wheel can be deselected too, this stuff up here. So I got the body. Okay, great. And let's bring back the skeleton, and I'm going to find the root joint right here. I'm going to hold down Shift and select it, and I'll just go to rigging, and I'll go here to skin, bind skin, dook, and I'm going to put it on selected joint, so it's just got one joint it's going to bind to. Great. And now you see those kind of little ghosty nodes show up again. Those are the history nodes that show the connection to the bones. And I'm going to grab this and that joint, front wheel, apply. Remember, bind skin does the job and then closes the window. Apply does it and keeps the window open, in case you're wondering what the difference is with all these buttons. And that joint's there again. Here, I'm just going to hide it for a second. Select this geometry. I'm just going to hit F to frame it so it's just a little bit easier to rotate around. Okay, great. Bring this back, and I think that's the back wheel joint right there. I'll go ahead and hit apply. And And then what do we got? Let's hide the joints. All this steering stuff. You might notice there's some faceted edges on here and things like that. Maybe you don't like that. I'm just going to go to rigging, modeling, and I can go in here to mesh display, hit it with soft edge, and that'll make everything look a little bit softer. When I do that, it's probably a good idea to delete the history because you're seeing a little thing here show up here. So I'll just Alt-Shift-D. Come on, you bastard. There, gone. And then we'll grab the steering joint here and I'll apply. And so that looks good. And I think everything's cleaner. Okay, one little ghosty node per node. Now, let's bring this back for a second. So, if I take a look, this thing is kind of small. I think the grid here is probably like 1 unit. So it's probably like in centimeters maybe, or it's small anyway. I'd probably measure everything. If I take this, and the skeleton has got a group as well, they're off from each other here. I'm just going to zero that out. I bet you it goes, nope, it does not. Let's just take the God control and I'm going to hold down X, so they're on the same spot. And I'll just freeze that out. Okay, so if I take the God control and I hold down Shift and I grab the skeleton group, I'm going to go into, where am I modeling? Switch into rigging. I'm going to go here to constrain and I'm going to put on a scale constraint. Okay, boop, it does it. And so now when I grab the God control and I scale it, it scales everything at once. Okay, one thing I should have mentioned too, that skeleton group should be scaled at 1, 1, and 1 when you do that. Otherwise it'll act funny. But there you go. So now I can move this. I always like it kind of centered on the grid here. I probably should have done that right at the beginning too, but whatever. Actually, just hold on a second. What's going on here? There's a point constraint on this. God control. It doesn't look like it's working. Same with the orient one. So I didn't notice that before. Well, I'm just going to get rid of those. And let's try it out again. So I select the God control, hold down, get the skeleton group. Oh, I think I see what's going on. You got 2 God controls here somehow. This one is probably the one that has it, had it on it here. This one, I probably wouldn't have called that God control. This one would have been, actually I'd call this one control group. Nope. Okay, something like that. There we go. And then this one, I hold down Shift, select this thing, and constrain, and I think I can get away with just putting a parent constraint on it. It's like a point and orient combined, and now, whoop, scales, and moves, and I don't think there's going to be any other problems, is there? No. Okay, and I'm going to stop here. What are we at? 8 minutes. Okay, so stop on this. I think that answered all the questions.